Τον είδαμε να περπατά δίπλα στους Βρετανούς δικηγόρους που ήρθαν στην Αθήνα πριν λίγες μέρες για συναντήσεις με την ελληνική κυβέρνηση ως προς το θέμα της νομικής διεκδίκησης των γλυπτών. Ίσως όμως ο David Hill να αισθάνεται πιο στα λιμέρια του εδώ στην ιστορική Τροιζήνα κοντά στην Επίδαυρο. Ο David Hill είναι ο πρόεδρος της Διεθνούς Επιτροπής για την Επανένωση των Γλυπτών. What was the turning point? When did you decide that you wanted to be involved in that cause?
Well, I first was struck by the injustice when I came here in 1973. And in those days, as a tourist, you could walk through the Parthenon. And after I finished in Greece, I went to London and for the first time saw the sculptures in the British Museum. And I was struck by the injustice, the wrong, and they should come back. And now I'm the chairman of the international committee, which has 16 countries. It's important that Greece understands it's not alone in this fight. There are now 16 countries with organisations that are supporting Greece for the return of the sculptures. And we won't stop until the marbles are returned.
Ο David Hill σπούδασε οικονομικά. Κατήχε υψηλές θέσεις στη χώρα του. Μεταξύ άλλων διατέλεσε διευθύνων σύμβουλος στην εταιρεία υδάτων, στους υδροδρόμους, στην Αυστραλιανή κρατική τηλεόραση, όμως πριν μερικά χρόνια αποφάσισε να αφήσει τις δουλειές του, να ασχοληθεί και να σπουδάσει το μεγάλο του πάθος, την αρχαιολογία. Is there any particular period that is your favorite?
Yes, the classical period. The archaic, the classical to Hellenistic. That great period, the golden age of classical Greece, where Greece produced so much for civilization. It's in that period we saw the building of the Parthenon and the creation of the Parthenon sculptures, which are unarguably the world's most important surviving ancient artworks.
Τα τελευταία χρόνια ο Χιλ έχει οργανώσει και ενισχύσει οικονομικά μία ομάδα από νέους φοιτητές αρχαιολογίας από τη Γερμανία και την Αυστραλία που εργάζονται στον αρχαιολογικό χώρο εθελοντικά σε συνεργασία με την Εφορία Αρχαιοτήτων Πειραιά, κάνοντας μία απεικόνιση του αρχαιολογικού χώρου που φιλοξενεί Ασκληπιείο, Εφάμιλο ή και ανώτερο της Επιδαύρου και τον Ιερό Ναό του Υπόλοιτου του 5ου αιώνα π.Χ. Αγαπά την Ελλάδα και είναι μάλιστα παντρεμένος με Ελληνίδα με καταγωγή από την Κο. Is there something that you love about Greece and that makes you come here to Kos?
I think it's the spirit. I think it's the spirit of the Greek people, indomitable. I think it's the love of life, the vitality of the Greek people. Mind you, I find Greece very frustrating as well. To do business in Greece is very frustrating, but I love it all the same. And yes, it's now in my soul. My mother, who passed away many years ago, she said to me she thought that I'd become more Greek than Australian.
And how can you help this union of all these associations?
Well, by generating awareness, by generating publicity, by agitating with the British government and the British Museum. I'm regularly in contact with the British government, regularly in contact with the British Museum, urging them to agree to negotiate with Greece for the return of the Marmara.
Ο Χιλ και η ομάδα των δικηγόρων θεωρούν ότι ήρθε η στιγμή η Ελλάδα να ζητήσει τα Μάρμαρα δικαστικά.
Now, of course, we're saying to the Greek government, look, the British haven't agreed to return the sculptures. It's now time you've got to test your legal rights. And I think that we've reached that point where in addition to all of the diplomatic, all of the political effort, I think Greece now has to consider the legal effort as well.
What do you think of this recent thing about the UNESCO being a mediator?
the mediation under UNESCO can only take place if the British agree to mediation, and they haven't and they won't. They've made it very clear, not formally, but they've made it very clear they will not agree to the mediation. Now, I don't know how many times you want to hear no, 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 no before you say, well, we've got to do something more, and I think we've reached that point.
Ενώ η Ελλάδα πρέπει να σταθμίσει αν την συμφέρει να προχωρήσει δικαστικά, υπάρχει ένα έστω μικρό συμβολικό κομμάτι από τη ζωοφόρο του Παρθενώνα που έχει επιστραφεί. Στην Τροιζήνα, στην ομάδα του Χιλ, δουλεύει ως επικεφαλής των Γερμανών φοιτητών ο Γερμανός αρχαιολόγος Στούπεριχ Ρέινχαρτ. Ο Ρέινχαρτ είναι πρόεδρος της Γερμανικής Επιτροπής Επανένωσης των Μαρμάρων και καθηγητής κλασικής αρχαιολογίας στο Πανεπιστήμιο της Χαϊντελβέργης. Ο Ρέινχαρτ πρωταγωνίστησε στη μία και μοναδική επιστροφή ενός θράσματος της ζωοφόρου που ανήκε στο Γερμανικό Πανεπιστήμιο. This fragment belonged to the University of Heidelberg?
Yes, I suppose some visitor must have brought it back from Greece sometime in the middle of the century. And when our Greek colleagues, especially Angelos Delivorias of the Banaki Museum, asked us to return it, and Elena Gorka of the ministry asked us, then I persuaded my colleagues to really do that, because it was no good having it in our collection, and it was, I think, an important thing, and somebody had to start with it, otherwise nobody else will do it.
Was it easy for you to convince the university to return this fragment to Greece?
It took a little bit of time, and I asked sometimes, and we discussed it, but we were backed by our archaeological and colleagues, and by the then rector of our university. They always were in favor of and pushing this, and so it was, in the end, it wasn't difficult.
Do you think that one day we will see the Parthenon marbles back to Greece?
Well, we're not going to stop. We won't stop until they are. I tell you why I think they will. At the end of the day, right always prevails, and right will overcome the great wrong. And I just hope it's sooner rather than later.
And I hope that this example of returning something, though it's a tiny, unimportant fragment, will in the end help others to give themselves a push and do the same. And I would like to one day to see this happen. I don't know when and how, but I hope we can help with this.